Alrighty, let me go ahead and get this big bad boy shit up. Go over here, go over here, here. Details. No, not made for kids. Okay, I'm just making sure that's it's all set up. Your stream randomly gets cut off at some point. That means I lost power. But I highly doubt that'll happen. The place where I'm at, even though there says there are storms, they basically last for 5 minutes max. So, and that's been going on for the last at least year and a half. Alright though, so I have some updates. As y'all notice, I am in different clothes this time. I played a little bit more later on last night. Got to the next boss. I have good news and bad news. Good news, I did attempt the boss. Some mild bad news. Okay, never mind, there's a shortcut. I'm about to say, I don't know where the fuck to go from here. I don't remember. But, the good part of, I did fight the boss a little bit. Nah, I didn't beat her. But, I didn't realize it was a boss room. In case you don't know, the floor caves in. Of which I didn't know that. And I didn't unlock the shortcut, so, like, I retried. And then went to the shortcut, came back up here, rested at the shrine. However, guess what I tested out? I like this boss. Now, not so great things. First off, if you're watching this after the stream is done, appreciate you. Not so great things. Number one, this area has been awful. Cloudspire as a whole, I have not liked this entire chapter for the most part, in terms of strict level design and enemy placements. Especially the second half. The second half has been rough, spamming beefier enemies after beefier enemies after beefier enemies. My problem with this is usually a problem I don't really run into until late, and I mean late. Like for first Berserker Kazan, I didn't start running into this issue until basically the final section with that Ozma ended with Ozma. So like that's when I ran into that issue. So I just started running through everything. That seems to have worked in terms of circumventing that issue. But something I do want to point out is, technically speaking, the previous boss that we fought in the last stream was the 7th boss. Like, in between, I was the 7th boss that I didn't like. 6 of those bosses are for the same reason. One of them is because it's a repeat. So, it's an okay repeat. Yeah, no. I have heard that, first of all, I have 3 chapters left. I've heard that this is about the halfway point in the game. If that is the case, this is gonna be rough. This is longer than Bloodborne. My first Bloodborne playthrough was around 6. It was somewhere around 17 or 18 hours. It was my first playthrough, and that was my second Souls game. So it says quite a lot. But we're gonna go ahead and fight the dress lady here. I'm hoping to at least get 3 bosses done. Now, as far as will this actually be the final stream that for WUCHANG, to be determined. It mainly depends on how much space 007 takes up. If it takes up a decent amount of space, this will be the first game to go. The other games I have installed, like Enter the Gungeon, which of course I play with Project sometimes, it's more of a couples deal. And Sparking Zero is of course getting a summer DLC update, so I'm keeping that on here. And of course I play First Descendant and whatnot as well. So it mainly just depends on how much space that takes up. Sisters we are, sisters will stay. Sisters from birth, sisters to grave. Okay, cutscene replays. Okay, that's good. So at least I can see this. I'm not gonna beat this first attempt again. So I'm just going straight into here. She is not wearing any pants, I just realized. Girl, put some damn clothes on. Okay, again, this is going to take me a little bit of time. Okay, yeah, let's just parachute. Okay. I am gonna have to start. Okay. Let me just get back into the swing of things here. Let's get back into this. Okay. I'm not used to just jumping straight into a boss, so. Okay. It's been a long time since I've done that. Okay, and then we could just we'll skip the cutscene. Fuck. Okay. The timing is a little different, so I'm still trying to get... Okay. Okay, oh, the noise is... Okay, yeah, that's fine, Okay. Okay, like I said, I'm okay with this taking multiple attempts. I gotta get back into the swing of combat and whatnot, so... It's not like some of the other previous bosses where we've had a long area and then a boss. Because at that time, at that point I get this, but, you know... I like this boss. I'm also trying to get a feel for... the cues, because this boss operates a little bit differently. Fuck! Okay, I need to focus on just dodging those. Okay. That timing! That thrust attack's timing, I gotta get used to it. Because it's very different than any other boss. Usually the second you hear the sound, that's when it's going to land, but it actually, there's a little bit of a delay afterwards. Madness descends, woo, okay, we're not cleansing this shit, so. Okay, yeah, I just need to focus on dodging this. I don't need to perfect dodge it. She dropped down that time, okay. Fuck. Oh my god! What the... I will say I'm not the biggest fan of not being able to stagger bosses. It makes it feel like character using the weapon arts is very useless. And I mean very useless, but that's not something specific to this boss, that's something that's more specific to this combat as a whole. Because yeah, Skyward Might's only use is using it for like spells or whatever. Okay, so she drops down. Oh, because I'm not using my proper weapon. Okay. Okay, I kept dropping my guard the second she would... Okay. Again, for some reason I had the one-handed sword. I'm just going to unequip it. I'm just going to unequip it so there's actually just no shot that I can equip that one-handed sword on accident. Unless, does it go to... Is there fists in this game? No, there isn't. Okay, so now I cannot... I actually just can't equip anything else other than the longsword. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me just reset a little bit. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Okay. There has to be a phase 2 though. That was, yeah, that first shot was way too simple. Way too simple. So let's see what phase 2 looks like. Okay. I think I can definitely hone in on phase 1 and do a little bit better. I am a little concerned on what phase 2 has to offer, but we'll see. This, I have not gotten to phase 2 before, so this is new. Phew, what the fuck? Wow. Oh, so that's right, I can't parry those. I can't parry those. Okay, that's right, I can't parry those. This is actually going to be a little bit on the tougher side. Because I don't have the ability to parry those. Okay. Ooh, I have to get through both phases. Okay. Phase 1, I got on lockdown though. Phase 1, I got on lockdown. Phase 2 is where I gotta really start focusing up. Okay. I thought it was too early there. What? What? Also, no boss should be able to do that. No boss should be able to do that. No exceptions. No boss should be able to do that. Just come in and destroy you instantly. By the way, Bloodborne's no exception to this. You know, Bloodborne does it very, very rarely. Now, the hardest bosses in the game, for the most part, aren't aggressive off-rip, period. Like, maybe I was slightly too close or something? Like, that is what I was waiting on. Oh, okay. That's nice. That came out so fast. This is starting to annoy me a little bit. This is starting to annoy me a little bit. You're like, what is that? Like, what? The second those come out, like, holy shit, that, what? Like, what? You basically have to get lucky enough to die, like, oh my god. My reaction speed's not that fast. My reaction speed is generally just not that fast. I can't react to those that instantaneous. I just can't. At least with the Centipede, there was a guaranteed pattern for its unreactable BS, but... And I only had to focus on reacting to that. Don't know what that shit does. Woo-wee! Okay. Okay. What? I can't react to that. I actually just can't react to that. I actually just cannot react to that move. It just comes out too fast. It comes out too fast. I actually just cannot. The second I'm hit by the first or second hit, yeah, the third's just guaranteed. At least with the parry, I can't react. I doubt I'd even be able to react with the dodge either. Okay, that dodge way too early there. Right? You didn't. Okay. Not gonna hit me the first time. Wasn't expecting her to get up with that. Now we're starting to get just through the first phase. There. Fuck. What? That's so far! What? That's like half health. Holy shit. How far am I in? How far am I in? Okay. I'm close to raging out. I'm close to raging out. I'm close to raging out so bad. I'm close to. I'm close. I'm close. I'm close. I'm close. I'm close. This just have with this boss or not the boss itself. It's with the core itself. Oh my goodness. Little things add up. Like, trying to hold off for going on, but little things are adding up. Also, just the cutscene. Fuck it. Why do I have to hold it to fucking skip it? Oh, I forgot what the dodge one was. Okay, that I got caught. That I got caught. What? Okay. Why does that attack have 3 different variations? With very different timings and no way to tell the difference between the 3 variations. Like... so tired. Right, I wasn't even trying to dodge all that. Okay. During that attack streak, if I hit the first time, I'm literally like pressing the deflect button, and it has not deflected a single time. So I'm not completely sure what's going on with that. Like, it's different from bosses having an unblockable thing, like a known unblockable string, but I can't deflect any of those. Like, if I get hit by the first one at least. Okay, yeah, this is my last game with this game. This is the last time. Nope. I'm done. I can't keep doing this over and over again. Because the biggest problem with this game as a whole is just actually just not fun. It's actually just not fun. And if I'm being personally perfectly honest, it has not been fun since halfway through the first chapter. That's a major problem. Like what? Fuck! Oh my god. for being a game like this, it is so punishing. So punishing when you miss something. Like, my sword was up for that first hit. What are we doing? What are we actually doing? What? That was a move I'd never seen before. Like, I'm trying to block! Like, holy shit! Like, it's just, I just have a pure inability to block. Like! Okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm actually done. I'm actually done. I'm done now. I'm done now. I'm done now. I'm done now. I'm actually done now. I can't do this anymore. Yep, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Nope. Congratulations, WUCHANG! You're in a very unfortunate company. I have been able to get some games that I haven't really cared for, but this is only the second Souls-like that I actually just am not continuing. You're in Lords of the Fallen camp. You're in Lords of the Fallen camp. You're in Lords of the Fallen camp. Now keep in mind, I still do think Lords of the Fallen is worse than WUCHANG. I still think Lords of the Fallen is worse, but at this point, it's not by much. They have opposite issues. WUCHANG is more so skews in the side of Sekiro likes. And keep in mind, Sekiro's combat did not really vibe with me that much, which is why, even though I have played a little bit of it, I just couldn't get into it. Which is why, you know, because especially for From Software games, I try not to do the whole play it until I hate it type deal, and I've been there with WUCHANG for quite some time. And I expect these issues to persist. I expect these issues to persist. First off, the inability to deflect fist attacks is a problem. A major problem. That means the only actual way to avoid getting hit by those attacks is by dodging. But dodging in this game is very strange. Also, a lot of bosses are aggressive. Meanwhile, there's not many ways to get back health when bosses are aggressive. That's the reason why Bloodborne works so well, is that when the enemies are aggressive, And what do you know? There's a rally mechanic where when you get hit, you can return some of that health by hitting the enemy's back. That is a great way to incentivize aggression. Um, and to not punish you as severely for fucking up just a couple of times. Now, it's one thing in like an actual Soulsborne game where you fuck up to a particular attack and it one-shots you. Keep in mind, this is one of the reasons why I did not like Lawrence, the first Vicar. Now, despite me loving his music and lore and everything, hated him as a boss fight because he had a lot of high damaging attacks. I despise games and bosses where it's filled with high damage and no way of mitigating that. Now, in this game, armor is seemingly somewhat important. And if you're trying to be a Souls-like, you have to be able to let the player play like they want to play in a lot of regards. For instance, Bloodborne, you don't really actually have to use the trick system. For Ludwig's Holy Blade, I barely ever use the trick system. I swap it between different enemy types, but I never do the actual trick attack animations. But also, if you want to go ranged, sure, you can go the gun route, right? And of course, Dark Souls 3, you have magic and melee. Both ways of playing are very viable for the most part. So, of course, magic is usually a little bit easier than meleeing, but also depends on the melee. Elden Ring as well. Both veins are possible. For me, personally, it is feeling like the game wants me to use magic, and I don't like using magic in these games. I don't. I do not like using magic. I did not like using, like, unless it's something very niche, for example, Dragon Cult incantations, like I did for Elden Ring. However, guess what? I use the Dragon Scale Katana. So I prefer using melee over magic, but to me personally, it feels like the bosses as a whole in this game are punishing me for using melee. They are punishing me for actively not using one-handed swords. That's what it feels like. And in terms of, sure, could I get good? Sure. But am I being rewarded for getting good? The answer is no. I've had 7 bosses in a row that I've not liked. No, like, 6 of those 7 are due to mechanics of the boss themselves or for some semblance of difficulty reasons. One boss is fine in terms of difficulty, but is a repeat boss from earlier. Also, the areas are way too long. I'm not doing another 15 hours of this. I am not doing another 15 hours of this. To put things into perspective, for Bloodborne, because they have similar boss amounts. Bloodborne has 22 bosses, this game has 24. The exception to this is Bloodborne has no repeat bosses, unless you count Lawrence and Cleric Beast. Meanwhile, this game does have a repeat boss, so technically speaking, there are 23 unique bosses, while Bloodborne has 22 unique bosses. 17 base game and 4 in, 17 in base game that are generally required moon presence as an offshoot. But there's all of that, right? The equivalent is kind of like if in Bloodborne, Cleric Beast good, Gascoigne good, Bloodstar Beast good. I do Witches of Hemwick before Vicar Amelia. That's the thing that I usually do, and that's the thing that I generally recommend doing because Witches is so easy. But however, that's where the game stops being good in terms of bosses for a while. Imagine this after Witches of Hemwick, Vicar Amelia, Shadows of Yharnam, Rom the Voracious Spider, Martyr Ligarius, Dark Beast Parl, One Reborn, and Celestial Emissary. Well, sorry, they replaced One Reborn, Celestial Emissary, and Abratus. That's a massive chunk of the game. Imagine if all of those bosses were actively terrible. Rom is a mid-boss, Shadow of Yharnam, cool or whatever. Vicar Amelia, though, I like as a boss. Dark Beast Parl, I enjoy as well. Celestial Emissary is a little bit, but Martyr Ligarius, I also really enjoy. But imagine if all this and their included areas, so all of Forbidden Woods, all of Yahar'gul Unseen Village, all of Upper Cathedral Ward, and all of Castle Canehurst. If all of those areas were terrible as well, that's what I'm having to deal with. I have not liked most of the area progression since Shoe Sanctum. Since Shoe Sanctum, I have not cared for most of the level design. And in terms of this Cloud fucking Spire, shit is where it's starting to get on my nerves. Now that being said, if I were to personally revisit this game, I would only do it on PC, and I would give myself some semblance of damage resist. I don't want to feel like I have to care about what I'm wearing in terms of fashion. I think general stuff is fine, but like in Bloodborne, I ain't got to worry about shit unless it's a status effect or if the boss happens to deal fire or lightning, but that's it. I don't have to worry about blunt slash thrust, but damage resistance is fine. Even in Elden Ring, you mainly only have to worry about light, medium, heavy armor. That's it. Dark Souls 3, light, medium, heavy. That's it. That is it. That's it. Like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, holy mother. I should not have to worry about these. About what I'm wearing. I shouldn't have to. I don't have to. Also, not being able to put stats into things. Future games. Stop doing a fucking skill tree. Stop doing a fucking skill tree. Just because God of War does it doesn't mean you fucking can. Stop this shit. Stop it. Deflect should not be locked to a fucking discipline. It should be with every single fucking weapon. Why the fuck do I have to go out of my way to unlock it? Also, weapon upgrades. What was wrong with the smithing stone system? What was wrong with smithing stones or upgrade materials, iron, or like some fucking bullshit? Bullshit! Why is this here? Why is this here? At least Kazan, upgrades were relatively meaningful. Upgrades were relatively meaningful. But why can't I put independent stats in vitality or stamina? Just weapon scaling? Also, why am I only locked to 4 different kinds of weapons? Longswords, by the way, is usually not a weapon type I go for. One-handed swords, not a weapon type I go for. Spears, generally not a weapon type I go for. Axes, not a general weapon type I go for. The only time I've gone for a spear is in First Berserker Kazan. That's the only time I've gone for a fucking spear. That's the only time I've gone for a spear. And also, dual wield? I haven't dual wielded since I first started playing Elden Ring. Where dual wielded katanas. I have not since then. What do I use in most of the Souls games that I play? Katanas. Dark Souls 1, washing pole, in Uchigatana, but Dark Souls 3, same thing. Demon Souls, same thing. Except I think I used Uchigatana for my entire playthrough of Demon Souls the first time. The second time, all I'm gonna say is Demon Souls, never returning to that game again. I beat it once, that's it. That's it. I will never beat it again for YouTube purposes. And then Bloodborne was the only exception to this. I initially did use a threaded cane, but I swapped over to Ludwig's Holy Blade. Also, the only time I've used a bigger weapon. The only time. Outside of Elden Ring Night Rain. But Night Rain, weapons feel good. Weapons feel phenomenal. For the most part. So here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. I can't go through another 15 hours of this fucking bullshit. So, context here. This is not a Souls-like. This is not a Souls-like. Stellar Blade is not a Souls-like. Kazan, not a Souls-like. You're just a difficult action game. That's all you are. That's all you are. I am very strict in my definition of a Souls-like, for the most part. So far, the only game that I have played that is an actual Souls-like is Lords of the Fallen. The only actual one. Stellar Blade is not a Souls-like. Nier Automata is not a Souls-like. None of you are Souls-likes. None of you. You're just a difficult action game for the sake of being fucking difficult. And not understanding why that fucking works. Okay. Now that I've gotten a decent amount out of my system, before I go off on before I continue raging out a little bit, I'm looking at this fucking madness screen. I'm gonna hop off PS5. I'm uninstalling this piece of shit. If I ever play this again, it'll be on PC. Oh, but that means... Oh, but no, if I get it on PC, that means I have to go through those bosses again. No! Yeah, you know what? This game's getting abandoned. This game's getting abandoned. Game's getting abandoned. There's another game on the shelf that recently came out in February that, I raged at the tutorial, and I don't know if I want to return to that one. Its name is Code Vein 2, by the way. But in the list of Souls games and Souls Lights, I'm going to call these games Souls Light. Light. Not like. Of course you have your main set, and y'all can look at some old videos or whatever, as far as where I rank the Soulsborne games themselves. But Stellar Blade is definitely the best one, by a long shot. Oh, then I'd probably say first Berserker Kazan. My main issue with Kazan is that the bosses start to feel repetitive at some point, and it dips quite substantially in the last chapter or whatever. That's for me personally is where Kazan starts to fall off hard. Also, though, is a decent final boss fight as well. It's just you can fuck up the true ending really easy by a single dialogue option at the very end, and I've never been a huge fan of games that do that. In terms of that ending. But Stellar Blade, by long shot, is the best. Then I would say first Berserker Kazan. Then I would say Code Vein, the first one. Not the second one. Code Vein. And then Nier Automata. Then WUCHANG. Then Lords of the Fallen. Oh, wait, Liza P. I forgot about Liza P. Liza P would be below Code Vein. Yeah, this was the first. I ain't doing it anymore. Oh my god. The thing is, this is only the second one that this is only the second Souls-like, or whatever, that I have not been able to get through. Because it's so infuriating. Lords of the Fallen was the other one. However, with that one, they added co-op, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Torchic is the only reason why we got through that game, but Torchic was also one of the only reasons why we almost didn't get through that game, because the co-op in Lords of the Fallen was so bad in terms of connections. She was darting around the screen, and so was I for her sometimes, even though I was host. But we managed to beat that game together. Somehow. This one I can't do. I can't do anymore. Phantom Blade Zero needs to come in and save me. Phantom Blade Zero needs to come and save me. Because I like the art style. I like the art style. I like the designs of the bosses. Some of the enemies. A decent amount of the areas as well. I do appreciate they brought in the element from Lies of P, where NPCs are shown in which area they are in. Some of them are a little bit iffy locations, and some of them you can fail their quests real fucking easy. Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3 also has this issue. Bloodborne has this issue, but it's very mildly. But Bloodborne, the issue is you can send NPCs to different areas. But yeah, I'm a peace out. I will be back on my PC, because also, let's be fair, I do need to get my capture card, really. But go back to Hades 2. Hades 2. At least in that game, I can blame RNG. I can blame RNG. Other than that, though, I will catch y'all back here in a minute. On a much better mic as well.